done using a social media tool, namely a wiki. So that would be, we could have the target of primary school children. And what would it be, the project? It would be a collaborative writing project of a book. The topic would be writing a book. And what do the kids could do while they were doing that, using this tool, this social media tool? They could work on brainstorming about the topic. They could set up different dramas, writing different chapters, commenting different chapters, interchanging their ideas, enhancing their cognition, their idea about that, and then at the end publishing a book. So this could be a really concrete task we could do in our company with your kids maybe, and that would enhance their 21st century skills and maybe that prepare them better for the world for the common world in their company or wherever they want to be later on. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, I'm so honored to introduce our honorable guest, Professor Zhang, to all of you. Yeah, Professor Paul Zhang, to all of you. Let's welcome him. He is the Associate Vice President, Research of Hong Kong U. Yes, he's also the Director of Knowledge Transfer. And he has a lot of titles in Hong Kong University. Let's welcome.
Right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I actually have a piece of paper to drop down what I'm going to say. I have been asked by my colleagues, Dr. Ju and others, to come and inaugurate a very interesting and very innovative company called Academy 22. I just learned more about Academy 22 by receiving a description from Dr. G last night, and I've gone through it and find it really interesting. I understand you have spent this afternoon looking at a few projects and a few new initiatives about how to cope with the modern age of education. Now, I can see that most people here are Chinese, except a few. And you already probably know Chinese culture. Among the Chinese, there's a saying that no wealth will pass through more than 3 generations. And for that reason, if you talk to Chinese, and a lot of Chinese parents will say, the best thing that you can pass on to your children is not your wealth, but education. And for that reason, most Oriental, I think also in the West too, parents would consider education very important for their children. And however, the problem, by the way, if you look at nature, human being is probably the only species that spend many years to nurture the younger generation before they mature. I remember seeing a program in the National Geographic that, for example, a horse, when the horse born, within about 20 minutes, that tiny little horse will start walking around and try to feel and adapt to the environment and try to survive. And for human being, especially in the more developed society, economically more developed society, it takes them at least 16 years, if not 20-something years, before they start sort of becoming fully independent in the society. It takes a long time. Why? Probably because we live in a very complex society. It takes all that time to get prepared to cope with this complexity. So it seems that, yes, most of the parents are thinking correctly, and especially in Asia, in China, in India, in Japan, they consider education very important, right? But is that true? I still remember 2 or 3 nights ago, I've forgotten, at my age I keep forgetting. I saw on the news an incredible picture of student taking public exam, and in this building outside, there are so many people climbing, risking their life, climbing up the wall so as to throw in cheat sheets, answers to exam questions through the windows. For those who are inside, sitting the exam, taking the exam. And it seems that it's pretty common. So common that this picture showing this building where all the students are inside taking exams, the people are just climbing up and throwing the papers in. Actually, in Asia, a lot of countries, education means taking exam and getting good grades in exams. And the purpose of getting good grades in exam is getting into university like the University of Hong Kong. Terrible. That itself, I'm afraid, is not education. We completely fail. After so many years, right? Well, Hong Kong, you have over 100 years of history, and we have many years of our history of faculty of education. It seems that we have failed. And I think, in this respect, Academy 22 and the colleagues in education trying to look into this and ask a fundamental question. What's the purpose of education? What are the new skills that the next generation, the next generation would need before they can cope with the ever-growing complexity in our society? And they come up with 3: learning and innovation skills, information media and technology skills, and life and career skills. Well, I cannot contradict my distinguished colleagues in education. Their work is in education. I'm an engineer myself. I'm a professor in engineering. I think, yes, those are very important skills. But I do want to challenge whether skills equates to education. I personally don't think so. I think that we should, over time, move away, especially for parents and also teachers like myself too, move away from the utilitarian model and thinking and expectation. Actually, education is a process of preparing our younger generation to cope with life and their future, to be a responsible and useful member of the society for the many years to come. And thanks for the advancement in medicine, it's nowadays harder to die than to live. And for that reason, people live longer and longer, and therefore, after the 20 years or so of education, they would have something like 60 more years to contribute to live a fruitful, meaningful life. And therefore, I would like to see that education, especially for parents, is a process helping the next generation striving for higher ideals of the making of a person, how to prepare that next generation to be a better person. And also the longer term vision of preparation for life. It's not preparation to get into Hong Kong U. If that's or Harvard, or University of Bern, or Bern, or ETH, or Imperial College, Oxford, Cambridge, if that's the vision, then I I guess you probably missed it. That isn't the purpose of education. And in conclusion, I would like to